Permaculture and growing empowers us to cope with the changes that are going to happen over the next years, and gives us the tools to adapt to that change. It's about connecting with your environment, with nature, with the seasons, with others, with your community, and creating something that's sustainable and works for the people in that space and for nature as well.
Tess I first found with a basket full of apples, and we were working towards a community orchard. She came down with lots of different types of apples and laid them down, and I thought, this is a cool person.
I always wanted to work outdoors, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, didn't want to go to university. And then I had my daughter very young. I was 18 when I had my daughter, so she was my sort of education. Then I had the joy of her growing up and being able to share nature with her, and suddenly food becoming much more important and what I was eating. So got really interested in healthy food, whole foods, and then from that started to doing a little bit of experimenting with plants. I came across the permaculture course and I thought, well, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So I signed up. I learned about a lot of the amazing stuff that's happening through the people I was meeting, the books I was reading, and just thinking there's so much amazing stuff happening out there. And most people have no idea of the positive stuff that's going on. It gave me a sense of hope, a sense of empowerment that I could actually do something to make a difference. I really enjoyed being able to share what I know, and through that sharing, having to learn more. So I ended up teaching because I still want to learn. And I wanted to share.
You need people like Tess to be able to advocate, to be able to champion, to be able to hold people accountable, but to also to inspire people to be able to take a step further than they think they could do by themselves. And before you know it, it's taking place in lots of communities across the city. It's happening in sorts of structures, such as the city council, in schools, in all sorts of leadership spaces as well, and that's very important.
I'm lucky enough to have seen those changes and worked through the city, and I'm lucky enough to have the knowledge I have the connections and the mentors and the support system behind me which enables me to do stuff. And I often think, what would it be like if I didn't have that, didn't have those connections? And so many people don't have that. And so a lot of what I want to do and what I have tried to do over the years is almost like planting seeds. And it may be as simple as taking somebody for a foraging walk, or meeting new people who get inspired by little wow things, like washing your hands with soap wet or eating a flower that they've never eaten. It's that wow factor. How can you help people who can't see what I can see? How can I help them step a little bit in that direction? When I first started working, I didn't have a lot of experience, so that was a steep learning curve. And at that point, you couldn't plant fruit trees in the parks and across Plymouth and on council land, and the housing associations didn't want it. So the change has been incredible, because now there's so many community orchards across the city, so many community gardens across the city, a lot of them on council land. The housing associations, they have lots of growing projects, and it seems much more open to supporting local people to steward these spaces.
Tess and others have brought in a particular way of being, and that's changed the way the city feels. That's changed why people want to live in Plymouth, and I think that's made also Plymouth a desirable place for people to come and live as well. And it's someone like Tess who's been able to demonstrate by leading, and that's important. Those leadership qualities aren't always ones which are written down and that you apply for. You create that yourself, and you change culture as a consequence, and Tess has really changed that in this city.
My vision is that in every street there should be an apple tree, a plum tree, edible flowers, a Szechuan pepper tree so you can fill your pepper pot. And each community should have some areas that you can come and harvest. We've got space to be able to grow so much food. There's so many easy plants to grow that actually don't take a lot of work, and then you can share. And once you share, you get those relationships, and you suddenly find you've got a much stronger, healthier, more resilient community. There's a quote, "Permaculture is revolution dressed up as gardening." And I hope that some of my work will create a legacy of growing, and that there'll be trees and plants that I've helped communities to plant that will be part of that living legacy to grow food in the future.